Well, it's not any different than any other game as far as focus is concerned. You know, it only takes one game to mess up the season as far as your dreams, your hopes, your goals. At the same time, it don't take but one play to lose a game. So there's no reason at all to not be focused and not be in the highest gear that you possibly can generate. And if you're a 4 on the floor, you need to have that 4th gear going. You know, if you're a 5 on the, with cruise control, you need to get in that 5 and go as fast as you can go. So, I hope that's what we'll do. And we got a lot of improvement to do in our football team. You hope going into the 8th ball game, 9th, going into the 9th ball game, that you would be that you would start peaking out, because our goal is always to improve as the year goes along and be peaking out, and we're not close to peaking out, at least in the coach's opinion. We think that we're still a long way from really being the kind of team that we're capable of being, and so it's not real satisfying from a coach's perspective to think that you're underachievers, to think that there's not much satisfaction in not performing at a level, or at least gaining ground on performing at a level that is where you think that you're doing it very well. That there's not anything wrong with with maybe having some difficulties along the way. What's the problem is when you're really inconsistent and you're not you're not in a reset button where you're redoing some of the same mistakes that you've been doing. You got to get out of that one and not look like you're starting off new every week. And sometimes it looks that way for us, and so it's very frustrating. I don't have not had a whole lot of self-satisfaction because I haven't felt like that I've reached these guys to get them to be all that they're capable of being.
You compare that to last year, and at this stage in the game, Carson-Newman was 6-2, needing to win out to even make the playoffs. Can you compare the level of satisfaction and the growth of last year's team to this year's?
Well, I don't like to compare. I'm not. Everybody asks me all the time, "What's your favorite team?" And so that goes back to 1902. So I don't. I can't remember that far back, but I think I enjoy the personal relationships with the kids on this team. I just don't like sometimes the way when we get together on the football field, how we respond together, and and I think I don't think it's intentional in any way. I think it's just a point of maybe thinking that that's good enough. And so anytime you think that that's good enough, then what's going to happen next? You're here. When you think that's not good enough, then maybe you'll be there. And so to me, that's the secret to being a great football team.
How difficult is it then to get that point across when you're on a 4-game win streak where you've scored more than 40 points each game, you're averaging 436 yards on the ground and 560 yards of total offense over the last 4 weeks? That's not the ceiling.
Well, statistics sometimes lie, and you also can look at we're very, very average in the orange zone, what we call the orange zone. Everybody else calls the red zone. We're very, very average there. We may be a little above average, but as far as I'm concerned, we're average. And defensively, we've given up so many long drives and so many 3rd and longs. even gave up another fourth down play Saturday. And you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go out there and get off the field. Defensively Saturday, it's been a while now since we scored defensively. And we need to be more offensive with our defense. And a kicking game took a backward step Saturday, no question about that. And so those are the things that, that don't show up in statistics. But statistics are a friend of a guy that's not interested in being all that God wants him to be, in my opinion. So that's pretty blunt, but that's the way I feel about it.
You look at Lenoir-Rhyne, another 3-4 defense that you face with a bunch of talented linebackers, a bunch of talented defensive backs. What sticks out to you about a defense that's top 10 in the nation?
Well, they're very, very well coached. They do very few things to beat themselves. You have to go get what you get from them. They're not going to give it to you. They're very, very quick. I don't think they're hardly as big up front. Of course, I think maybe 1 out of the 3 or 1 out of the 4 is back with our front 4, but they're so much quicker. And and they're moving them around a lot and doing a lot of interesting things with their front. And they keep you guessing because they'll give you a lot of different little wrinkles that to the eye you don't see it much, but when you start evaluating, they change gaps responsibility. And anytime a defense is changing gap responsibilities on the snap, then it creates some issues that you've got to execute and read yourself into a good play. And sometimes those kinds of things will slow an offense down because offensive linemen slow down. If they slow down up front, they're going to slow down back here. And so we got to find a few simple things that it don't matter what they do, it matters what we do. And so, and of course, they got 2 all-conference safeties, and one of them's a great football player, I think. And I'm not going to say which one, but I think both of them are really quality players. And so, and they'll be down there probably about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage, and like they were last year, and we'll have to play well.
You look at their triple option offense. It's the 3rd one that you faced this year, aside from Brevard and Shorter. What separates the bare bone from what the Tornadoes and Hawks do?
Well, they're probably more experienced, number one. Number two, they probably have got a little better offensive line. Not a little bit better, a whole lot better offensive line. Number three, they probably have got total, their skilled people, total-wise, are probably faster than any total group we've faced. They've got, Shorter had a couple of really good fast people. Brevard had one pretty fast person, but every one of Lenoir-Rhyne's can run. And so it's not like you got one or two or one maybe that you got to key on to hope that they don't outrun you. They've got about 5 or 6 that can outrun you, and so you have to really do a good job of playing assignment football. And then tackling, we got tackle. We missed 17 tackles Saturday, and that's the most that I remember since 1902, and we got to do better than that.
You bring up the missed tackles. It seems that that's reared its head a few times this season. How do you correct something like that, especially so late in the game against a team that's very good at misdirection?
It's called effort. It's called heart. People with a lot of heart are good tacklers. And of course, it takes keeping your feet moving and running your feet. But it's to me, blocking and tackling is the key to the game, and it's hard. You can block and tackle if you just run your feet and you want to. You got to have the heart to want to. And so again, that's some of my frustrations with this team.